Saludos y bienvenidos a todos to the PGP podcast. Hey, everybody, Josh the Watt, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland, ISD, Garland, USA. Ready to rock and roll with another fabulous, stellar panel of educators that are bringing in the knowledge. So thank you for being here. I don't know when you're watching us today live. 75 shows, Moreno, all live. No pre-recorded, no faking the funk here. Live shows, 75 of them. So thank you for being here. Or if you're watching the rebroadcast, thank you very much for giving us some of your time. One of the things that's not guaranteed is time, and you shared some of that with us. So thank you very much for being here. Remember that the PGP podcast is part of the Fantastic Four Network with Coach Sean Hurt every Saturday on Facebook Live. After that, Tammy and Shika at 10:30, and El Jefe, Principal Cafele, at 10:55. So join us, because remember that all of this is what? It's free PD, baby, because education is broke. We ain't got money, and you can't go wrong with the type of talent that we have on this show and all the other 74 shows. So please take out your writing utensil, take out your abacus or whatever old utensil you have, or something brand new to take notes, because it's all free PD for you. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Maine or whether you're in Florida, whether you're in Alaska or in Hawaii or in the 48 middle, you are part of the same beautiful profession, the profession that creates all the other professions, education, and we need you. So please share this, share it and like it, so that other people can be part of that algorithm. You know how people Moreno say, oh, yeah, oh, what you see on social media, it's so bad. I'm so tired of seeing it. Well, stop promoting the negativity and promote free PD, promote the Fantastic Four, because that's where we do, because we are only stronger together, and iron sharpens iron. If you'd like to be part of the show, reach out to this lady before she goes to Tanzania, to Guatemala, to Djibouti, to I don't know where she's going to go to next. But reach out to her, or reach out to me, direct message us, because you bring a craft. You bring a passion that we need, and they need to hear from you, South Dakota. They need to hear from you, Idaho. They need to hear from you, Wyoming. So let's all be part of this one glorious family, education family, because we're all in it together. Moreno, ¿cómo estás? What have you been up to?
Josh, I'm home. Look, my spiders are up there. You see them? Yay. I am home. I'm happy. Finally, I had some time to be here at my house. So, you know what? I'm doing great. I've been working tirelessly with my computer and kind of just getting some material completed for some districts that I'm working for. And then guess what? I had to just relax a little bit. So yes, I am going to Guatemala on the 23rd of October. It's graduation in Guatemala, because the end of the year ends in late October for them. And so I'm going to go to graduation, the school that I'm visiting. And then I am 30 days away from going to Tanzania. So, 2 quick trips really fast before the end of the year. But I'm super happy to be here with you, Josh. And you know what? This is an awesome show. You know why? Because it's our peeps. It's the principals. And so I'm super excited. I can't wait to hear what our fellow colleagues are doing and all the knowledge you're going to be dropping today.
All right, real quick, Moreno, 30 seconds. Tell the people about going to Africa if they want to go. Go.
So really quickly, I am going July 10th through the 17th of 2026. I'm going to Tanzania. It's a wonderful school. Please Google www.promisevillageacademy.org is the name of the school that we will go visit, support the students, support the teachers. We'll be there for 10 days. If you're interested, right there, Newcomer Success on any social platform, send me a message. You can look for it on TikTok and or Instagram, more information. So please reach out to me if you're interested. We are currently looking for people who want to go. I have 5 people now, but hey, come on over. Let's do it. It's going to be fun. And July is a great time because it is cold in Tanzania. So it's nice. It's nice. It may be hot in America, but it is about 45, 60 degrees in Tanzania. It's beautiful.
All right. Awesome. So now it's time to the Chinchilawa moment. Chinchilawa, Otis is like, what is Chinchilawa? Do you put that on tacos? No, Otis, it is not a seasoning. Blaine, you're from Oklahoma, but I don't know if you know about Chinchilawa. Marissa knows. Chinchilawa is a Mexican game, because no other country has told me differently. And what you do during big fiestas, you put all your family against the wall and you scream, Chinchilao ahí arriba, boy. And you run and you jump on top of your grandma. You yell it again, you jump on top of your cousin, and there it's a human pyramid until someone breaks. Boom. And your little cousin's head open. Grandma gets up, hits everybody with a chancla. You know, the fly swatters going all the way around. All right. Well, this is my Chinchilao moment right now. So, Moreno, I just got back from El Paso. I went back home because my mentor's husband passed away of that ugly cancer thing. And she made me who I am. If it wasn't for that lady saying, you need to go to school, you need to go to school, she would bring me back catalogs. She goes, you enroll in school? Did you enroll? And I go, I no. And she goes, you need to go to school. And she pushed me to where I went in summer. She goes, Coach, I better see you in school. I need you to do this. And throughout my career at that middle school that I was at, she changed the master schedule for me so that I could finish my master's. She created a position. We didn't have an in-school suspension, and she created it for me. You know, I'm so loyal to that woman, you know, Miss Millie Williams, from that moment on. And so my moment is during this time, when she saw me, I didn't tell her I was going to go to her husband's viewing and her burial at Fort Bliss. When she saw me, she's strong. She's, my Lord, she's still in charge. She's still that strong woman telling everybody what to do. And then when she saw me, she started crying. And then I don't cry. She's like, oh, no, don't do the wail. And then I like, you know, it's a beautiful moment, you know, of appreciation. And so I say this to you out there. If you're on October break or whatever you call it, fall break or whatever it is, continuing because you already had it, reach out to the people that helped you. Mm-hmm. Reach out to those people and give them their flowers while they're still alive. Yeah. The person that opened the door for you, the very first teaching job that you got, the very first person that gave you the assistant principal job, I don't care if you like him or you don't like him now. That's not the point. They opened up the door for you. Yeah. And now you're in that position because of the help that you receive from others. Along the way, those people that encouraged you, cheered you on. But ultimately, there's always that one person that saw something in you and the page made you something that you are now. So my challenge to you is this. Who is your Millie Williams? That's Millie Williams. I've been interviewed, I don't know, like on 20 podcasts, and I always try to mention her. I always try to do that. And the people that opened up doors for me. Carmen Crozet, another lady. I was never supposed to be a principal. I was blackballed in the district I used to be in. And she said, come on over to the neighboring district. She opened up the door for me to become a principal. Lorenzo Mata, another person that was very influential. Michael Lee was another person that was influential. So here are the roses to those people that assisted me on my path. Dr. Susanna Russell also said, hey, you know what, Josh? Come on over. There's a position over here. You might want to fit in it. Hey, you're an immigrant? Yes, I am. Hey, you used to be a knucklehead? Yes, I am. Hey, it's a perfect school for you. Come on over. They find the right fit and they found the right person. Thanks to their help, I'm here in North Texas. So I repeat it again. Make sure that you take that time and you reach out and you be thankful for those people that encouraged you and pushed you on the journey that you are in today. Moreno, what are your thoughts on that?
Josh, oh my God, here you are talking about this amazing woman, and I'm just thinking about who inspired me, who supported me, and you know what? Those names just like come out like this. I mean, I was just jotting down names really fast because you know what? You're absolutely right. And I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking, I have not even reached out to, not even a simple text to say, how are you? And you know what? They're on my phone. I know I have those people's numbers on my phone number. I mean, in my phone contacts. So real quickly, if you don't mind, I want to just shout out Steve Amstutz out there. I am the principal. Well, I was the principal that I was because of him, but I'm still a principal kind of, you know, in different ways. So shout out to him. I really want to give out to Jaime Casena. He gave me my first teaching job. I never even in the world thought I was going to do, you know, working it with children, but here we are. Jennifer Topper, Diana de la Rosa, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for keeping me on point. And guess what? I am who I am because these people and many, many, many more. So thank you, Josh, for reminding me. And you know what? As soon as this podcast is over, I'm going to send him a really fast text to say, hey, how are you? I hope you're doing well, because we need to be reminded of, all the things that doors close. It's not easy to get a principal job. It's not easy getting an assistant principal job. You got to know and do and everything else. And so, you know what? Thank you again, Josh, for reminding us of how we got to where we are. And we didn't do it alone. We had to get, we had to find ways to do this. And thank goodness for our friends out there.
Exactly. And just make that a little pattern. I try to do that. I try to send out 20 texts every morning to different people, just 20 people per day, and how long does it take to send a text? Nothing. Less than 4 minutes. You just send that out, something simple, and it'll inspire people. And you know what? You pass that forward, doing everything. Talk about that. I encourage everybody to check out episode 12, episode 18, episode 21, episode 50, 71, 12, 18, 21, 50, 71, which are our prior principal roundtables, because now we're entering with principal roundtable number 6 on the PGP podcast. I got one more. I got everybody. Pano, muchas gracias. Thank you for being here. Moreno, stick.
Guys, you heard my intro. You guys are my peeps. I was a principal for 18 years, assistant principal for another 10. So you know what? I'm amongst a great group of people. So thank you so much for taking some of your Sunday to be with us. And just to kind of get everybody kind of acquainted and let everybody know who we are, we're going to start off with Otis. Okay, Otis, since you're right to my right, we're going to start off with you. Otis, can you tell everybody out in the virtual world, give the audience a brief background on the different roles you served while in education, because you just didn't walk in to be the principal. Like, you started off from somewhere, right? So, yep. So just the different roles in education, and which one was your favorite and why?
So my roles in education, I started off as a 5th grade elementary school teacher. I've also taught 4th grade and 3rd grade. I was a behavior specialist, an assistant principal, and of course now serving as a principal. And my favorite role, I would have to say, a 5th grade teacher. I really enjoyed working with the students each and every day, instruction, letting them know that they can believe in themselves, and focusing on building relationships with families. I still can do that as a principal, but when you're in the classroom, the relationships get even more deeper, more meaningful, more engaging. So I really enjoyed myself as a 5th grade educator.
Awesome. And remind everybody, where are you calling in from, and what level are you in the principal? Elementary, middle, high?
So I'm from Tampa, Florida. I'm currently serving as a principal of an elementary school, Twin Lakes Elementary School in Tampa, Florida.
Awesome. Thank you. Kind of writing my notes down. Thank you so much, Otis.
You're welcome.
I totally forgot already. Marisa?
Yes,
Marisa. How about you, Marisa? What is your different roles? Which one's your favorite?
I started out as a high school English teacher and drill team director, and then I became a middle school assistant principal. Well, I was a journalism teacher also, but became a middle school assistant principal, and then high school assistant principal, high school principal. I supervised principals in a district, in a small district, for a couple of years, and now I'm back to being a high school principal. And I have to say, being a high school principal is my passion, my love, my joy. I really enjoy high school students and making sure that they have every opportunity available to them so that they can be successful, not only while they're in high school, but when they leave high school also.
Oh, that's amazing. I remember when I was a high school principal, graduation's always the highlight of my life. So awesome. Thank you so much. Dr. Kabeen.
Thanks, Dr. Reynolds. Jessica Bean here from Austin, Minnesota. We always have to get the states right here. But I'm currently the principal of alternative programming. So I oversee our alternative high school and our online statewide high school. So 912. But I started non-traditionally. I got into teaching later on, and I was an autism teacher for 7 years in St. Paul, Minnesota, then moved down here to Austin, Minnesota. And I have been a director of special education, middle school AP, kindergarten principal. So I was the principal of 405-year-olds for 6 years.
Wow.
Happiest place in southeastern Minnesota. And then I went back to middle school. So I was the middle school principal. And now I'm here at the high school level. And kind of like Marissa said too, I didn't think I would like high school. My superintendent shifted me to this position, and I went kicking and screaming like a true middle school girl. But 4 years later, I'm here. I love it. And I think, talking about graduation, my first class of kindergartners graduated last year. And so for the next 5 years, I get to hand the diplomas to kids I had in kindergarten and middle school. So it's quite the journey, and I've just really enjoyed it.
That is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. How about you, Blaine? Where are you calling in from as well? And it looks like you're middle school. So I got those two pieces.
So Blaine Wise calling in from Glenpool, Oklahoma. This is a small suburb just south of Tulsa. How I got my start, I'm a non-traditional educator. Education was not my major in college. I went the alternative certification route, and I started actually as the ISS supervisor. So, where they throw all the kids into high school jail. That was me watching those kids. And I had a lot of experience because I was one of those kids. But then after that, I got my first teaching job at Glenpool High School. I taught history, coached golf, wrestling, football. Then I had a good friend of mine believe in me, and he brought me over to a neighboring district, Charles Page High School in Sand Springs. Then in 2.5 years, I became a dean of students at the freshman academy over there. Then I quickly became the assistant principal at the freshman academy over there. Then this position opened up at my middle school, where I went to middle school. It opened up, and I applied, and I was fortunate to get this position. I actually had 5 teachers when I started here that taught me when I was in middle school. So that was an experience. And I would have to say this is my favorite role in education. Before this position, I'd never worked in a middle school. Then when I jumped in it, I just knew where my heart and my passion and my energy was. And, middle school is like the forgotten child. And so I wanted to add those supports, and this is where I'm at.
Awesome. And I have to comment, is that KISS behind you?
That is KISS. That is KISS. So my administrative assistant played a little prank on me. We had a little inside joke going, and one Monday morning I had the cardboard cutout of KISS. It's about 5 feet tall back there.
Really?
And so now it's just a permanent fixture in my office. So
I didn't know that was Halloween or something. I had to kind of zoom in. I'm thinking, and you moved over, and I was like, yep, that's KISS. That's it. I got it. Awesome. Thank you. I just had to kind of figure that one out. So thank you so much for sharing. And last but not least, Nikki.
Hi. Okay, it's my 24th year in education. I started off in early childhood education. So I was a kindergarten, first, second, and third grade teacher. After that, I moved in to be an instructional coach for 4 years. And I focused on integrating technology as well as curriculum. Then I moved into my administration role. So I was an administrator for 6 through 9 junior high, grade 6 through 9. And now I am a high school principal, grades 9 through 12, as well as a director of innovation and personalized learning at a local district. And one caveat throughout this journey is I was in public ed, then I moved to charter system. Now I'm back in public ed. Also, while I have been throughout my journey, I co-authored a book on something I'm very passionate about, meeting the needs of all learners and personalization, what I've kind of been focusing on. And what else? Just I go around and I am coaching and consulting schools around the nation also. So to narrow down, my favorite would probably be first grade, because that's when I identified that kids are entering schools. Some of the kids knew letters and sounds and could recognize them. Others didn't. Some could read. I realized that very first week of school that we needed to to do more than just give a one size fits all approach. And so when I started differentiating 23 years ago and trying to meet the needs of all kids, that's something that was just kind of embedded in me. And I'm still doing that in the secondary setting and trying to move away from the teacher centered and more of a learner centered approach. And so all my goals kind of all focus in back to the very first week of my first grade class. So yeah.
Awesome, guys. I think this is going to be a fantastic podcast because we have folks from all over the country, which brings kind of perspective into what we're doing in different places. And we have so many viewers from all over the world now that this is going to be an amazing podcast. And Josh, man, la sacaste right here, man. It was awesome. I just love the fact that we just have such a very wide variety of principals today.
Most definitely. Greetings to Constance Sherrard, part of the Fantastic Four family. Thank you for being here. Dot McKeever Jeter, always our number one cheerleader for the Fantastic Four family. Thank you. Miss Sessions, right there from OKC. Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu will be watching on the rebroadcast. Who else do we got, Moreno? Who else do we got here on the scroll? My sister, Shika Houston. Our Gamecocks are not doing well at all. This is a horrible SEC season for the Gamecocks, but it's okay. There will always be a bounce back. And Miss Arcella Austri, Fantastic Four family. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Please don't forget, like and share this. All right, panel. We're going to start off with Nikki right here real quick. Nikki, two-part question. Let's not fake the funk, all right? Let's be real right here. That's why I never give anybody the questions. How was your first year as a teacher? And part two, who inspired you to move into who inspired you to move into administration? So how was your first year, young lady? And who or what inspired you? Now, don't go beyond that.
Okay.
Don't go beyond that person, right? So how was your first year as a teacher, and who inspired you to go into admin?
Okay, first year, kind of what I mentioned before, it was a little challenging because, you know, we're giving that one size fits all curriculum, but I'm having students come in on all different levels. And so I had to figure out on my own, how do I make sure I meet all of their needs and challenge all the students that they're depending where they came in, right? And so there was a lot of risk taking. There was a lot of failures and growth, but I learned so much that first year. And I think that's who has embedded who I am, just going through those ups and downs and trying to meet all of the needs of those kids. So even though it was challenging, I found it very rewarding, and I had to step out of my comfort zone and dig deep and kind of go back to what I believed in my heart versus just using curriculum. So, but I absolutely loved it. I knew from day one that this was the career for me. Okay, part two, when did I decide to go to administration?
Right.
I feel like I have always, I'm a lifelong learner, and I'm always trying to learn and grow. So I felt like even from the beginning, I knew that I was going to eventually be a principal. There wasn't this really light bulb moment. I just knew that I wanted to strive to be a principal someday and to make change. I really believe that we need to continuously change and grow and, you know, move away from the factory approach that we've been doing for years. So I always wanted to have an opportunity to lead others to try new things and, you know, help our students out.
Perfect. Thank you, Nikki. Blaine, what's up, brother? Don't fake the funk, man. Tell me, how was that first year?
That first year was a struggle. Like I said before, I'm not trained in education, and I taught 11th grade U.S. history, and I would take the textbook home every night and read it and handwrite my notes and type up my guided reading questions. So I was prepared, because, you know, kids, if they know you're not prepared, they will eat you alive. And I spent like a week mispronouncing the Treaty of Versailles, calling it the Treaty of Versailles, and a kid corrected me, and I was mortified. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going out like that. But that paid off. And then moving to administration, what drove me there? Having kids. I needed more money. No, I'm just joking. I had a really good principal when I was working as a teacher. Her name was Miss Kim Cootie. She was always positive and upbeat and a big culture changer. And I knew that when I moved into administration, I wanted to be that administrator that I needed as a teacher. And so that's kind of what pushed me in the administration.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And as a fellow history teacher, that's why I laugh at you, sir. I got you. All right. I understand. Otis Kitchens, Florida. ¿Qué pasó?
So my first year, it was definitely a struggle. I mean, the pacing of it all was a struggle. I had students that finished early, students that took too long to finish. So I'm just running around, just trying to make sure that everybody has some type of work, and like my man said, taking stuff home, and it was difficult. But at the same time, I did have some colleagues that kind of took me under their wing and helped me out, and I was able to get through it. But that first year was definitely tough, no doubt about it. And then what inspired me to get into administration was my mother. So she was a principal while I was growing up. So I didn't know this, but it was resonating with me. She was helping out students going to church with us, and she was always just so servient, and all that resonated with me. And I was working basketball camps during the summer and working Parks and Rec and always being around children. So it just started to like really resonate with me, her leadership and me being around kids. And eventually I transitioned into administration, and I've been happy ever since.
Love it, especially with moms on you.
Yeah.
Jessica, how was it? Talk to us.
It similar to Blaine. So I went to college to be a music therapist. So I went into teaching later on. And I do remember my first year teaching, I was also pregnant with my son. So that just added a layer. And I was an autism teacher back in the early 2000s, and that just was different. The strategies and supports looked different back then. And I still stay in contact with some of those kids, which is really incredible. They've really instilled my love for relationships and caring. And I think for those listening too, I don't always know if you see what you can be. Sometimes people have to show the mirror to you. And so to become a teacher, I had one of our assistant directors of special ed say, you should be a teacher. So then I did it. And then a couple of years later, the assistant director of special ed said, you could be a director of special ed. And so I went back and got my licensure for that. And I'm so grateful for Dr. Barb Stillwell and Dr. Pat Fernandez and my friend Sadiq, who's continued to inspire me to really champion the underdogs and to continue to find innovative ways to serve and support all kids. So that's kind of it. And then I guess I crossed back over to general ed from special ed, and that would be from Dewey Shar. He was an assistant principal at Ellis Middle School here in Austin, and said, I think you could be an assistant principal. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that Kool-Aid. I want to stay in special ed. And he encouraged me. I job shadowed him, and I wouldn't be here today without him. And he knows that. So.
Wow. No, thank you for sharing your stories. Love it. Marissa, talk to us.
So my first year teaching, I taught ninth grade English, and I always wanted to be a high school teacher. So I was in my element, and it did have its challenges. One of the biggest challenges was they decided that I could handle the tough students that maybe weren't making it in other teachers' classrooms. So they would move students into my classroom, and I, at the time, thought, I'm a first-year teacher. Why do you think I have the skills to help this teacher, these students, if a veteran teacher doesn't? But had some success, and from there, decided that being assistant principal, high school principal, was probably going to be my calling. The high school principal that hired me, Dr. Marlene Hammerly, was definitely my mentor, and she embodied doing what was best for each and every student. All of her decisions were truly about each and every student, and so I try to model that every day and really make sure that no matter what, students have what they need while they are in the high school.
Thank you, panel, for sharing all those awesome, and from the heart, del corazón. I could hear the heart beating. Del corazón, me fascina. I love it. Hey, and I saw what Kenyelle Sessions put. Hey, everybody listening out there, write down on the chat, who inspired you. Put it on the notes and send the love because it's on YouTube and it'll be there forever. So if you need some brownie points later on, hey, I shouted you out. Stick.
That's important, Josh. That's important to shout out the people who supported you along the way. So awesome, awesome. Yes, do that. Guys, we're going to peel back the onion just a little bit, okay? I know you guys talked a little bit about who inspired you to become an administrator. This question really is kind of focused on when you applied for the principalship, because there's a lot of folks out there that either are thinking about going into the principalship or they don't know if they ought to do this. So really this question is about kind of supporting someone out there who may not know if this is for them or not. Okay, so we're going to start off with Marissa. Marissa, the question is, when did you know or what told you to apply for the principalship? And if you want to just kind of segment into like kind of your journey, like what would you suggest for people out there who may be thinking about it?
Well, I would definitely suggest that you find a mentor or mentors. I was very fortunate and I had quite a few people that poured into me in different ways. But while I was an assistant principal, I knew my goal was to be a high school principal, and Dr. Angel Rivera became the principal where I was the assistant principal. And the very first day I met him, it was his first day. It was summer. I just happened to be in the building doing summer testing, and he sat down to visit with me, and he said, "What's your goal?" And I said, "Well, to be a high school principal." And he said, "And what have you done for that journey?" And that was a great question. And from that moment on, I started leaning into those that could provide experiences for me to become a principal. We were fortunate in our district that we had a Future Principal Institute. And so the individuals that were part of that gave us the experiences in different capacities. And so it was just very nice to have people that showed you the way, people that you could talk to when you had questions. And I would tell anybody that is looking to be a principal is to become familiar with different people and different places that are not necessarily about the principalship, because you're going to learn a lot more when you learn about everything involved in a school system. And one of the best decisions I ever made was to do what it takes in Texas to be a superintendent. You have to take 4 doctoral level courses before you can even take the test. And I had no aspirations for being a superintendent, but I knew that taking those classes would help me understand the decisions being made above me, and then would help me in making decisions for my campus and leading my campus. So being a lifelong learner, always seeking out information, even if it doesn't directly apply to the principalship, it'll help you be a better principal.
Facts. That is facts. You know, there's so many people who assume getting a principal certification is only to be a principal, and you can do lots of other things. You can be a specialist. You can be a director. There's so many other positions. So you're absolutely right, Marissa. Thank you so much for sharing. How about Dr. Kabeen? What would you have to say, or what other thoughts do you have around that?
I think so. If I'm speaking to someone who's like, I think I'm ready to go into a leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
I think now too, it's about you interviewing them just as much as them interviewing you. I think it's important that you do your research, you learn about the districts and the communities in which you want to serve, try to be present, get a vibe for what that looks like, be out on the hallways on your tours. If you're taking a tour of the campus, if this isn't your district, if this is your district, you already can do the research. But I know that is challenging too, because sometimes it's like in the interview too, I would just say, brag yourself up. Please brag yourself up, because a lot of times there's great insight and knowledge in you, and we don't brag ourselves up very much at all. Like, we don't like to toot our own horn, but in this situation, you want people to know the things that you have done to get you to this position today and why you think you're ready to take on the role. So I think that's really important. And I love what Marisa said too, is just like putting yourself out there. And I have the pleasure of overseeing our summer program. So I have 2 lead teachers that are aspiring administrators. And it's just that, like, okay, how do I handle a bus issue? How do I handle a lunch issue? How do I make a call to a parent? So when they get into those interviews, they can say, I've done X, Y, and Z in a position. So I think that's really important too, is to find places where you can serve and lead and use that as you build your resume and your interview skills.
Awesome. Great advice. Thank you so much. Blaine, how about you? What would you say to someone out there interested, and or how did you actually get into this role as the main person at the school?
I think Marisa and Jessica, try to get exposed to as much as you possibly can, that gets you learning and seeing what administrators do on a daily basis. And kind of like what Marisa said, I had a principal, Kim Cootie, I'll shout out her again, is she said, I was in front of her in front of her desk, and she's like, well, what's your goal? And I said, well, I want to be the superintendent of the school district. And I was like a second year teacher. And I said that, and she's like, oh, what steps are you taking? And then it's like, well, I'm going to go get my master's degree, and I'm going to pass my principal's test. Then I'm going to get my superintendent certification. And it kind of just worked out that way. But along the way, I had people that would encourage me to continue the journey, because there's a lot of times, probably with all of us, is we have that imposter syndrome. I can't do that. I am not prepared to do that. Will I even be good at this job? Is everyone, and so they would always be there every step of the way. It's like, hey, you got this, just keep going. And I would gain inspiration from watching my friends and colleagues continue to grow in their successes and running their schools. And like, man, I can do that. And tell yourself you can do that. And if you're considering it, waiting for the right time, there is no right time. You just got to jump in head first and, put yourself out there. And like what Jessica said, is selling yourself. When I interviewed for this position, I came into it, I said, what is going to set me apart from all the other people that are interviewing? And so I had to, I came up with, so I was like, okay, we are GMS. What are we going to be when I'm the principal there? We needed something to hang our hat on, so to speak, and we are going to be this. And so I came in there and I said, if I'm the principal, Warriors are going to show gratitude. Warriors are going to model positive behavior, and Warriors are going to support Warriors. So GMS. And so that's kind of what we have. That's on our shirts. It's in the hallways, and that's who we are. All of our kids know that. And so have something that you're going to hang your hat on and sell it. And not just sell it, you got to live it, breathe it. You got to do, they just can't be words. So that's what I got.
Blaine, thank you so much. And that's so, so, so true. It's also branding when you do those things, right? You're branding your school, and you're making it what you're going to guide everybody to do. So yes, thank you so much for sharing that. Nikki.
Hi. I was actually an instructional coach at the time, and I was working in the charter system, and my school board had asked me, so we had 2 campuses within our school. We had the K through 5 and 6 through 9, and I was working in the K through 5. And my board president, and I was going to school to be an administrator, had asked if I would take over the junior high. And at first I was like, whoa, I teach babies to read. I'm like a cheerleader. I'm not sure I can do teenagers. Are you sure? And our elementary was thriving at the time. And our junior high, we'd start with 100 sixth graders, but by 9th grade, we'd only have 25. So he's like, I really need you to come. We need to increase enrollment, raise our test scores, and teacher retention. Those are the three things I need from you. So even though I was so nervous, I never envisioned myself to work with teenagers. Like the rest of you said, like, you do need to take challenges and go out on those skinny branches. So I said, okay. And I took that job, and I realized that teenagers are just the same as little kids. They need love, and they need support just like they did. And They loved my cheesiness. I was nervous of all that, but so it was really exciting. So it kind of happened faster than I had imagined in my brain, and I never thought I would do junior high, which is crazy because now I fell in love with the junior high stage. And then when I had this upcoming opportunity, this is my very first year of high school, I had set a goal that now I want to, be able to say I've worked in elementary, junior, and high school. So I'm so grateful I did that. But my advice would be, where we're kind of shouting out, my mentor when I was in first grade is Mitzi Kawaguchi, and she helped me learn how to differentiate and use data to pull small group and one-on-one and to meet the needs of those kids and make sure that we are challenging them all. And so she was my mentor to think outside of the box and be innovative in my teaching practices. And I took all of the advice she gave me when I was an instructional coach. And being an instructional coach for 4 years, working with adults is different than working with children. And so my biggest advice is if you could gain experience teaching, leading, guiding, mentoring adults, do that first. That also shaped me who I am. So I believe I'm more of an instructional leader than just like a manager. I do all my own PD. I truly believe in the power of of faculty meetings and PLCs. And I feel blessed that because of my past experience, I can lead versus having to hire people to come in and do my PD and stuff. So I think we can identify problems within our school and I can help our teachers tackle it together. And I think that's a missing piece, is making sure that our leaders know how to lead, instruct, and coach. So I would just say gain experience and in working with adults too, not just children.
Awesome. Nikki, we're going to talk about those strategies in a little bit. So just stay tuned to that. Hold on. Otis, close us out, sir. What else do you have to say about kind of your journey through being a principal?
Well, I wanted to kind of give some advice on, if you were an assistant principal, what you should do if you want to become a principal. The first thing I would suggest is you figure out what the principal leadership rubric is, because we're all evaluated against some type of rubric. So then I would take that rubric and work with artificial intelligence and develop some opportunities through that rubric for me as an assistant principal to get principal experience according to the rubric based off the needs of my school. Then I would take that to my principal and please give me the opportunity to have these opportunities, because I want to be a principal and this will perfectly align with my vision of being a principal. So can I have these opportunities? So that's what I would do in order to take the initiative to prepare myself for the principalship.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, because I know that's something that most people aspire. There's a lot of teachers out there that want to be principals. They want to be assistant principals, and they have no idea even where to start. So I think the theme here is kind of know your passion, kind of know the guide, and then find those leadership opportunities as well, right? To make sure that we are kind of growing ourselves as we get to that chair.
Take the initiative.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Talking about initiative, El Jefe. Jefe is always taking initiative. Principal Cafele. That's right, Jefe. Yeah, Jess is here. Otis is here. The whole group is here right now. It's true. When we're talking about that the whole concept of not believing you're supposed to be there. Jess, I felt that way when we did that principal project and I was co-hosting with you. I'm like, I looked into your background and I'm like, oh my God, I can't know. It's just that self-belief, like, hey, she's doing great stuff. I can learn from her bouncing stuff out. So, hey, believe that you got it and it'll happen. Trust me. Believe that you got it and it will happen. Profe Laws, bienvenido, amigo. Nice to see you here. Giving a shout out to Shika out there. Now, the next couple of questions are a little bit more of how-to kind of stuff. So let's not get lost in the weeds, obviously, because we have a Sunday still, and I want you to enjoy your beautiful families and your loved ones and everything. So let's start off with Jessica. How are you addressing in your area? And again, let's not get lost in the weeds. I know there's a 3-hour PD for this, but just how are you addressing the teacher shortage? I'm still missing 2. There's literally nobody in in the North Texas for Spanish or for high school science. There's nobody at all right now. I can't hire anybody. So how are you addressing this teacher shortage? And then also, what are you doing to support the alt-cert educators that come into your campus?
Great. So when I think about teacher shortages, I'm also working on teacher retention. And so really supporting the teachers that I have on campus, making sure, similar to our students, they've seen, heard, and valued. How am I making sure I get to know them outside of who they are as a teacher, who they are as a human, and what do they need to ensure that they want to come to school every day and feel supported? So I think keeping the people there that we have is always the best investment, because that'll continue on with the culture that you're trying to build. With alt licensure, we're really fortunate in alternative ed that we do have a couple different pathways and to ensure that our teachers come on board. And I think that's really, really powerful when you're working with students who are in need of something different. And I say in need because alternative ed is not at risk. It is for people who are in need of something different. And sometimes that's a different pathway for education as well. So I think just working with our State Department, our human resources, and really getting creative of finding the right humans and then helping them knock down the pathways and barriers to getting them that licensure.
Yes, ma'am. Marissa, what does it look like?
I am fortunate that I'm at a campus that has many veteran staff. And so this is only my second year, but we have not had to find new teachers in a mass amount. So my focus is more on the teacher retention piece also, and making sure that the new staff we do hire feels like they belong, that they have multiple people that are checking on them. And then we also have multiple touch points with them throughout the year. And one of our charges is for sure with our alternative certified teachers and the ones that are working on that, and making sure that they don't get lost in being a teacher and keeping up with their program. And so each administrator has at least one or two alternative certified teachers or teachers that are working in their program. And so we check in with them periodically, about once a month. Where are you in your programming? What help do you need? And so making sure that they don't get lost, because unfortunately I have had a couple that did not stay on track. And so then as a result, I lose them and then I have to find new. So really making sure that no matter what, we keep the teachers we have and we make them feel supported throughout the year and just have checkpoints with them.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I know that in Florida, they just go to the beach. They got no problems in Florida. There's retention always right there. Otis, what's going on there in Florida? Talk to us.
So, like everybody's mentioned so far, retention is extremely important in valuing the people that you do have, but also making sure that you're visible in the building to see, for example, substitute educators and building capacity from them. Also, making sure that you're LinkedIn and what's going on, because what you do on LinkedIn, that's one of the first things that people are going to now to check out to see if they want to actually interview and go to your school. So making sure you're very relevant in building your brand through LinkedIn and other social media platforms, because that also matters as it relates to attracting people. And then word of mouth is everything as well. So what are the people saying within your building? How are they promoting what's going on as far as positive school culture and support from administration? All of these things are connected. And as long as you are visible on social media, treating people well, visible in the building, and supporting people, word will spread to the point where people are going to be knocking on your door to come into the school. And then when that happens, I know with me not even having vacancies, I make sure when people still reach out to me, I still take the time out to set up a Zoom meeting. It only takes about 10 minutes. Now they realize that, wow, you value them. Also, take the time to bring them on campus, even if you don't have any vacancies. Walk around with them, show them, make them feel like they're the most important person in the world. Word spreads, and as a result, people will continue to come in, people will continue to want to stay, and we can continue to move forward in a positive way.
Love it, man. I want to work for you, Otis. I'm on my way to Florida, brother.
Come on down to Florida, man. We can go to the beach together.
I'm ready, brother. I'm ready. Hey, Blaine, what does it look like in OK?
I'm very fortunate. I'm fully staffed. I did have to hire a math teacher the day before school. So that was, I think we've probably all been in a situation like that, but it's worked out so far. But teacher retention is a big deal. We, at our district, we've implemented an induction program where you have for year 1 to year 3 teachers, different type of checkpoints with those, year 3 to 5. And we also find, just like you guys know, the study is after year 5, that's when we're starting to lose teachers. So we're going to expand our induction program to year 5 to 7 and continue that training and support for those even year 5 to 7 teachers. But like everybody says, how are you pouring into your staff that's already here and in the building? Like Otis says, they're your biggest advertisers, because they have friends in education at other school districts, and they talk and they tell how great their culture is here at this school or how poor it is. And I'm very fortunate that we haven't, in my 5 years here, we haven't had anybody leave for a lateral move. Okay, so everybody's moving up or changing careers, but not a lateral move. So that says something, I think. So I'm actually, we had one take a lateral move, but guess what? He's back in the building because he figured out the grass wasn't greener somewhere else. So, but that, you gotta continue to recruit the people that are working in the building every single day. How you making them feel, the support you give them, know them on a personal level, all those things. Keep the ones you got in house.
Beautiful. Nikki.
All right. When I took that first principal job at the charter school, and we had to make kind of a transformation. And in being in a charter, you do have to kind of find your vision and your mission, because you have to do something different. So I forgot to mention I'm from Ogden, Utah. So our traditional public schools are great. So to be a charter was very hard at first, because what were we going to do that's innovative? What are our test scores, and what is our culture like? How could we increase enrollment when the surrounding schools were doing well, right? So we really had to think outside of the box. I was in your same predicament at first, and I couldn't get people to come to a charter because we didn't offer the retirement, the pension, all the benefits that our local school district did. So it was very hard to find teachers. Well, I ended up hiring from out of state, and it was the best thing I had ever done. So I ended up having teachers from California, Nebraska, New Mexico. I even had someone that had came over to US for their graduate studies from China, Germany. So I ended up with this staff that was very diverse. Everyone had different beliefs. Everyone came from different areas, but that was so amazing. So my advice would be, don't feel nervous about looking out of state, because what I created was my dream team. And every single day we learned from each other, from past different experiences. And I love to hear how everyone's personal education journeys were. And then once we created that, then it's exactly what they said, that working on that teacher retention. So I'm a big advocate for marketing. So we would hire camera crews to come in, and I'd put them in my teachers' classrooms. That empowered them, that gave them the confidence to know that I believe in them and that I trust them. That also had my students would feel like, oh my goodness, the camera crew's coming in, and we would constantly post on social media. And then I also had all of my teachers create a social media account. So we were all tagging each other and using the same hashtag and creating our brand. And it really did work, because everyone felt like seen as professionals and loved and valued. So that's my advice. Oh, right now at my new school, it's a little different with high school, but I'm loving the alternative route because what I'm doing is I'm trying to push CTE because I really believe in career technical education right now. And so I'm moving towards profession-based learning. So I'm loving the alternative route. In Utah, you get 3 years. And I'm hiring people from industry because I'm really wanting more relevant real world projects for my high school students. So that's been amazing. So I'm an advocate for that also. I think bringing people in from industry is so amazing. So that's where I'm at now.
Great thoughts, awesome activities taken to keep that retention. Thank you, panel. Moreno.
All righty, guys. Blaine, I'm going to start with you, okay? I know. I'm keeping tabs, sir. I'm looking at I have my little, you haven't started off the round, so I'm looking at that. And so you're the last of everybody. So you're going to be the first one this time, okay? I'm keeping track. So Blaine, this question is for you. We've been looking and we've been talking about all this principal role. Let's look at our APs and our teachers for a second. What leadership, and there's lots of stuff that you can probably say, but because of time, just come up just one strategy for a teacher and one for an AP. What leadership qualities do you look for post-COVID for teachers, and what leadership qualities you look for APs?
Teachers, man. Everybody's going to say relationships. That's a big piece of it.
But you're the first one, so you can say it.
Okay, yeah. Well, they're all going to say, how are you building relationships? But we do a shout out every Friday at my school through a Google form. Kids shout out teachers. They shout out the teachers that are most consistent and actually and hold them accountable. And so kids really need and respect and like structure, even though they might not, they might fight it, but structure is great for at least our middle school kids here. And so, and just seeing them as who they are, meeting them where they're at. I think that's what Nikki talks about quite a bit, is meeting them where they're at and seeing them who they are. So that's for teachers. For an AP, I had a friend, Tim Ray. He's a good buddy of mine. I learned a lot from him as an AP, and he said, you got to find something and make it yours. I think Otis was kind of alluding to that earlier. It's something that you actually have ownership of as an AP, that you can just take the reins and run with it. And that's, if I'm a principal, that's what I'm looking for, is somebody that can just grab a hold of something and say, hey, this is mine. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And I'm like, okay, that's yours. And I won't worry about it because I trust you to get the job done. And I'm going to respect how you do it because I know we're on the same page. And so those were my two answers right there.
Awesome. Thank you, Blaine. Those are great. Those are two great ones. And see, you're the first one and no one else is going to touch those, right? So those are yours. How about Otis?
So with both the assistant principal and the teacher, two things. Number one, are you a continuous learner? Like, are you trying to get better every day? Are you receptive to receiving feedback? Are you stuck in your ways? I just need for you to just want to get better and learn every single day. And then number two, do you show up? Are you consistently available? What's your attendance like? If you can want to get better every day and show up, I can work with you. There's a foundation there.
Okay. So awesome. So we have relationship, continuous learner, leadership, and be present.
Yes.
Be present. How about Miss Dr. Kabin?
Yeah, I would say for teachers, authenticity. Be who you are and be okay with it. You don't have to be who the other person is down the hall. Be careful on social media. It's not a competition, it's collaboration. Just because they're doing it doesn't mean you have to do it either. So just be very authentic in who you are and how you show up for kids, and they're going to know it. And then for assistant principals, vulnerability. I kind of wish I would have had someone tell me as I was my AP years. I don't have to have all the answers. And spoiler alert, I probably don't have any. So just being really vulnerable with that and when you make a mistake, own it. I think so often we think we have to put ourselves on a pedestal that we can't sustain. So just be really vulnerable when you make a mistake, apologize, build those relationships and move forward.
Awesome. Nikki.
Okay, teachers and admin, I just think it's our job to teach students how to learn versus what to learn. I think it's our job to really provide opportunities for them to identify themselves in a learner, because that will help them be a lifelong learner, like we've all said, right? Self-reflection is so important for our students, teachers, and staff. All of us, we need to self-reflect daily. I love what Otis said about feedback and conferencing. I think that starts from the top, working with our teachers and our VPs, but also I think our teachers need to provide feedback to our students at a young age. So constantly modeling from the top down what we want to see within our classrooms. I also agree with what Blaine said on having something unique about yourself just to help you stand out, obviously to make your brand. Dancing is something that I absolutely love. And so I incorporated during passing periods, we would always have music on. I would be dancing in the halls. And so just kind of, and I always wore high heels. So just little things just to make you stand out and different. So that's not really a serious thing, but it helped, create an environment that I was passionate about. So just finding what makes you work.
Awesome. And last but not least, Marisa.
For teachers, I would say to be solution oriented. In education, we have lots of items to tackle, lots of to-dos, lots of things on all of our plates. And instead of, seeing it as a negative, seeing the positive and bringing your solutions to the table and how to tackle all this and working together to make what needs to happen. Mm-hmm. And then for assistant principals, I would say initiative. Don't wait for someone else to tell you what needs to be done or wait for someone else to take the lead. Go ahead and take the lead and do what needs to be done, and don't be afraid to take that initiative just because you're a new assistant principal.
Awesome, guys. Those are some great qualities that for both teachers and for APs. And I hope everybody out there who's listening can hear everything that you guys just said, because it's important for them to take the next step, right? How do we make it so that we now know what we need to do moving forward? So Josh, this is amazing. Again, guys, if you have not liked and shared the video, please, the podcast, please do so now, because you guys are dropping some huge nuggets. And when Principal Cofelli says this is a great discussion, guys, it's awesome. So thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge with us.
And the thing is that they have the receipts, Moreno.
Yeah.
We obviously, educators are very humble, leaders also, but we got National Principals of the Year here. We've got national speakers here on this panel, and in the past ones, but on this panel. You got Division I athletes here that have played. We got people. I'm telling you, these panels are on fire, and it's all for you. Like it and share it. It's crucial. All right, we got to learn from each other. Vámonos. Marisa, give the audience one great thing about being in the chair. You had this awesome experience that you're like, this is why I'm the principal. And then give damn it, I should have handled that differently. You know what I'm talking about. If it was a cheerleading mom or if it was a softball mom, I don't know. But one great, and let's be as quick as we can. But tell one great experience you had sitting in the chair, and then one that you're like, I should have done this differently.
I would say I have so many great experiences, but they all tie to the success of the high school students that I have had the pleasure of being their principal. I have students that have served in the military. I have students that have some of the top jobs in the country. I have athletes that have been athletes at the college level and at the national level. So I would have to say the greatest thing is not just one thing, it's every student that's been successful as a result of their education. And then y'all can see my cat behind me. I would say always, I think when you think about what could be done differently, unfortunately, sometimes it has to do with when you're working with parents. And sometimes it's not always a positive situation, and you want to help them, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. So there have been a couple times when things with parents haven't gone how I wish they had gone.
Exactly. Hey, Marissa, last week on the lightning round, my cat kept crying. And I tried to hit him away. He kept coming over here, like, shut up, get out of here. Not You don't do that during the lightning round. It's okay. I understand. Jessica, one great experience you had, and then one that you're like, ugh.
Absolutely. I would say the great experience I've had is giving both of my boys their diplomas as they graduated from high school. I think that was, and I didn't cry with either. So I think that was even the bonus round on that one, is handing them their diplomas as being the parent and the principal was just a true honor. And then I'm going to go back to when I was in AP in the middle school. I had an interaction with a teacher where I thought I knew better than they did. And they were a veteran teacher of 25 years. No, I did not know better than they did. And they were much more gracious than I probably would have been in telling me that. And I think one thing I wish I could have done is just slow down a little bit more in my earlier years and really listen, learned, and then led. That would really be my reflection on that, and probably multiple interactions that I'm like, oh, I just wish I could have paused a little bit before I went forward.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for sharing, being vulnerable about that. Appreciate it. Nikki, one great thing and one like, ugh.
I'm with Jessica. I'm a little bit of an Energizer bunny and kind of crazy, and I go. And so some advice I'd give is like, you really need to pause and slow down. I like to jump into 100% with everything I do. And sometimes I think it is important to pause and listen and slow down before you make decisions. And then a wow moment. I was fortunate enough to have my own two children with me, K through 9, at the charter school I was at. So I got to drive them to and from school for 9 years. And I think that the conversations I had with them were so important, being a mama. So that is great. But truly, I don't know. I have loved all 24 years. So just having the opportunity, I love being a principal because it's the best of both worlds. I get to be with the students every single day. And also I get to still be a teacher and train my teachers. So my wow is just being a principal is amazing because you get to work with adults and kids, and I love it.
Awesome. Blaine, what you talking about?
My wows are the messages that you get sometime in your Facebook or an email or just something that says, hey, do you remember me? You were suspending me, but I remember the conversation that you had with me and that stuck with me. I just got one just the other day. So those right there that, you pour into a kid or all the kids, and you never know when they're going to blossom. But when they blossom and they reach back out to you and you're like, oh my God, that's why I do it. The moment where I'm not so proud of is sometimes I'm a little too honest. And sometimes I overshare things that, should have been administrative conversations. And so, at a district level. So I just sometimes I just need to learn to shut my mouth. How about that? And so that's kind of, that's it. I mean, there's no other better way to say it. Just sometimes
principalship is a lonely job, buddy.
It's all right, brother. You ain't faking the funk. I love it. Let's close it out. Otis Kitchen. Let's go with a glory and one.
So the glory, I love to start off the mornings on our morning show. It's live stream across the entire school. I talk about our mission and our vision, and I say it with conviction every single day. And it just gives me joy when I hear 3 and 4-year-olds running up to me saying, every student can excel. I can excel, Mr. Kitchen. And that's our vision. So for them to say it to me with so much love, that makes my entire day when I get those moments. So I wanted to highlight that. And then woe is me moment. I remember when I first got into the principalship, not really fully understanding teacher contract. So, faculty meeting, extending it for a very long time, past teacher contract hours, and a teacher calling me out on it. And instead of me just, like you said, Jessica, just being vulnerable, I kind of felt like I had to stand my ground, even though you want to call me out in front of everyone. And just reflecting on that moment, I could have definitely shown some vulnerability. It's okay. Everything, you're not perfect. That actually shows strength. So I could have done that. So that was my woe is me moment.
Love it. Thank you for sharing and being so open, panel. Moreno.
Okay, guys, this is going to be quick. Okay, so it could be a long dissertation, but we're not going to go there because we need to make this quick. So Otis, I'm going to stick with you. Otis, what
Yep.
troubles you at night about the field of education?
Just making sure that we can meet the needs of all students and not get discouraged by the word equity.
Interesting. Okay, awesome. Marissa, what troubles you at night about the future of education?
That it is not valued by others outside of education.
Interesting. Yes, I would have. Facts. Blaine.
I'm gonna have to echo that right there. Is the lack of value, especially in the state I live in. But luckily that guy's out. But so valuing education is
key. Awesome. Dr. Kabin.
I think just the stamina. I think more and more teachers and principals and leaders are being asked to do more and more with less and less. And just how do we continue to do this and lead at work and live a life? That's kind of my guiding mantra. So that's what I worry about. Lose sleep at.
And Nikki, what worries you at night?
Absenteeism. I feel like as we get into secondary education, our students don't really see the value and the purpose, right? So just helping create an environment that's relevant to them, to where they want to come to school every day. And I want to prepare them for the workforce, so when they graduate, they can have a job. So just incorporating more future ready skills and providing them opportunities is going to prepare them for their future and make them want to come to school. Because that's kind of a struggle here that in our area that we're fighting, is just getting those high school kids to attend school.
Yes. Facts. Josh.
So true. Nikki, let's get started with you right now on this one. I'm a young 33 in this field, only 33 years. And the next question, just straight out. You know, Nikki, you're not as old as me for sure, but you know that you've experienced assistant principals that don't get the shot to the chair. And they get disillusioned. Not only that, or they wanted the chair at that campus and they don't get it and they're angry. And they're there with the new principal and they might be toxic. So how would you address that assistant principal that didn't get that shot or hasn't gotten that shot?
God, that's a great one. Okay. Obviously, I think communication is key in conversations. And so I think the most important thing that I would need to start with is to form that relationship. I need to be honest and start communicating with them and collaborating with them to help them get past their anger, right? And so make it so I'm very clear and transparent with them, very, very open, be willing to listen, and then help them figure out what their next step is and areas that they can improve in a positive way.
All right. Marissa, that AP, they still haven't gotten the shot or they shouldn't gotten your chair. That was my chair.
I echo what Nikki said, and just being transparent with them and being a person that listens to them and lets them express their frustrations, and then helping them move past that and see that they do, helping them see where their strengths lie and how they can use their strengths to continue to grow, and help them understand that sometimes what we think is best for the best position for us sometimes just isn't, and it takes a while to see that, but building them up to know that they have the skill set, they have what they need and to just keep moving forward.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marissa. Jessica, what are your thoughts?
Just really trying to help them understand that this is a comma, not a period in their leadership journey. I think too often we think this is it for me then. If I don't get this, I'm never going to get it. And a lot of times it's just a different chapter in the story that we just don't know yet. And I think all of us have had experiences where we thought we were going to do one thing and we end up doing something else. And in reflection, that was the journey we were supposed to be on.
I like that.
Facts. Blaine.
I think, yeah, you got to use it as a coachable moment. I didn't get positions that I applied for and somebody else got them, but it led me to where I am now. So I'm a firm believer and everything happens for a reason and timing is everything. And I had a football coach that said, you might not get what you want, but you get what you need. And so sometimes being turned down for a position is what you needed so you can do some self-reflection to look yourself in the mirror. I know Principal Kafele always carries that mirror around. And so doing that self-reflection and get you back on track to move forward in a positive manner.
So true, but you got to remind Jefe that he's got to clean that mirror, man, because that mirror it gets very dirty. I'm tired of reminding him, Jefe, clean the mirror, man. You got spots all over, all right? I'm just saying. Otis Kitchens, talk to that AP, man.
So resiliency and perseverance, that's part of the game. So helping that person to understand that and using that as an opportunity for us to sit down and actually write out what the goals are related to the leadership rubric. And then I provide that support to help you achieve that. Now, after I do that and you're still being resistant and having grief, then it's going to be a different type of conversation. But hopefully it won't get to that point, everybody.
So true, so true. And take it from 3 decades. Moreno also 3 decades. I can guarantee you one thing, AP. I didn't get it. I was an AP for 13 years. 13. I felt that way. But let me guide you. Let me tell you one thing. God will put you where he needs you. You don't understand it. I can guarantee you, God has always placed me where he needs me. And that door was meant for me. You have a door meant for you. I promise you that. Moreno.
Guys, this is the last question. And it's a simple, easy, fill in the blank question. So we're going to start off with Dr. Kabeen. This is for you, my friend. Okay, so I want you to think back when you got hired by your superintendent, okay, or the school board or whoever hires you. Okay, so now finish the sentence. Hey, me, I have to tell you one thing. The most important thing you have to do in this job is
learn how to balance work and life.
that's a good one. Awesome. Yes, because we got to balance. How about you, Otis?
Be resilient.
Be resilient. Awesome. Marisa?
Believe in myself.
Believe in myself. Blaine?
I had a whole bunch of things in my head. Be authentic.
Be authentic. Okay. And Nikki?
Lead by example.
Lead by example. Josh, I think they're ready for the lightning round because they did fabulous.
I love it. And it's time. Otis, it's time. It's 3 seconds left. You got the ball. You know they're going to press you. You can't let them. You got to score.
All net.
Hey, that's what we got because it's the ganas. You know what ganas is, Otis? Hey, Blaine, do you know what ganas is? Jessica, do you know? Nikki, Marissa, I know you know what that is. Ganas is a spiritual word for all Hispanics. It doesn't matter if it's Puerto Rico or Cuba, Bolivia, Mexico, Ecuador. We're all. That's one word that really unites us. It unites us all. It's a generational love word that a grandma will yell at her daughter, screaming, granddaughter, échale ganas, mija, when she's playing mariachi. Or that mom is yelling at that quarterback, échale ganas, mijo. It's a generational spiritual word. So I want you to make sure that that's why it's a PGP podcast, ganas. Otis Kitchen, answer these questions real quick. If I start getting close like this, you're taking too long, all right? So get the hint when I'm doing this.
Let's
all
do
right?
it.
Here we go. Give advice to a first-year assistant principal.
Be vulnerable.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student who brought you happiness.
So much love.
Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
A third grader.
Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
Principal Kafele.
Who is the best evil character? Freddy, Jason, or Michael Myers?
Freddie, he works on your mind while you're sleeping.
What has been the craziest costume you've worn at school, sir?
I was a number 2 pencil.
March Madness or the Super Bowl?
March Madness all day.
Who played their character the best? Stallone in Rocky, Keanu Reeves in John Wick, or Arnold as a Terminator?
Rocky, come on, when he beat the Russian, come on.
How can the audience get a hold of you, my man?
Old Kitchen 32 on X, and please see me on LinkedIn, Otis Kitchen.
That guy has a beautiful wife. They're always traveling, does great stuff on social media. Love him. Great job. Thank you.
Swish.
All right, Jessica, here we go. Ganas. Give advice to an assistant principal.
You'll never be everything to everyone, and you'll never be anything to anyone until you prioritize yourself first.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student who brought you happiness.
I'm going to give Akalo a shout out. She custom made a leather journal for me that said Dream Maker.
Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
I would have to say Ken Williams.
Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
Well, we got Principal Kafele out there. I'd also say Principal L would also be another one too.
Who is the best evil character 'tis the season? Freddy, Jason, or Michael Myers?
Jason. Moving on. Okay.
What has been the craziest costume you've worn at school?
Can of Spam, home of Austin, Minnesota, Hormel. I wore a can of Spam.
March Madness or the Super Bowl?
March Madness.
Who has played their character the best? Rocky, John Wick, or the Terminator?
I kind of have to go with the Terminator.
How can people get a hold of you, your book, call you out to their school to speak? How can they get a hold of you, ma'am?
All right, so you can go to my website, jessicacaveen.com. You can follow me on all the socials at Jessica Caveen. I have 5 books out right now, and I'm working on another one. And then coaching this year, I've kind of booked up because I'm a full-time principal. But if you want coaching or speaking, you can just reach out to me or Jimmy Casas.
She's on fire like always. Blade, here we go, my man. Give advice to a first-year assistant principal.
Be present.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher, student that brought you happiness.
A student gave this to me. Don't let the world change your smile. Let your smile change the world.
Woo! Eso. Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
I got a bunch. Stan, JJ, Tim, Ryan, Chris, Kelly, Becky, Erica.
All right, they know who they are. Name one person in the audience should follow on social media.
Will Parker, podcast Principal Matters.
Yes, he does. Who is the best character, evil character? Freddy, Jason, or Michael Myers?
Freddy, psychological terror.
What is the craziest costume you worn at school?
Clown costume, hair and makeup and all.
Love it. March Madness or the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Who played their character the best? Stallone, Reeves, or Arnold?
Adrian, Rocky. Come on.
And Mr. Principal of the Year, how can people get a hold of you, sir?
You can check out my website, BlaineWise.com. You can follow me on X, Blaine Wise Leadership, TikTok, Blaine Wise Leadership as well. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Love it, love it. Marissa, here we go. Lista, give advice to a first-year assistant principal.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher, student that inspired you.
From a student recently, I cannot overstate how pivotal Lakeview and your leadership were in setting me up for success. All the study, homework, and hours paid off in the best way possible.
Woo! Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
I would have to say all my assistant principals who take care of the nitty gritty every day.
Love it. Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
Joe Sanfilippo.
Well, go Crickets. Who is the best evil character, Freddy, Jason, or Michael Myers?
Michael Myers.
What is the craziest costume you've worn at school?
Instead of a ugly Christmas sweater, a gingerbread girl sweater dress.
Oh my Lord. All right. March Madness or Super Bowl?
March Madness all the way.
Who played the role the best? Rocky, John Wick, or Arnold the Terminator?
Definitely Rocky.
How can people get a hold of you in Mesquite, man? No, it's Mesquite.
Marisa Ramos on all the social medias and LinkedIn.
Love it. Nikki, let's close off. Remember, panel, don't hang up after this. Nikki, here we go. Give advice to a first-year assistant principal.
Lead with your heart, not your ego.
Read a note, an email, text from a teacher, student that inspired you.
All right, really fast. I just got this letter when I left my past school that I'd been at for 10 years. You've been more than just a principal. You've been a great source of inspiration and energy. You have created a school where we all feel loved and supported, and you lead with heart and strength, and everyone in our school is incredibly lucky to have experienced that. I won't read the whole thing. Yeah.
Eso. Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
Currently, my superintendent, Gina Butters. I absolutely look up to her and admire her.
Love it. Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
Tim Grover. He'll help us really fight and learn how to have grit and resilience.
Who is the best evil character, Freddy, Jason, or Michael Myers?
Michael Myers, he literally has no feelings and has experienced any trauma. I don't know how he does what he does. He's like a robot.
What has been the craziest costume you've worn at school?
I'm not really crazy. I've been like Wednesday Addams. I've been Black Widow, Alice in Wonderland, Dorothy.
Love it. March Madness or the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Who played their character the best? Stallone as Rocky, Keanu Reeves as John Wick, or Arnold as the Terminator?
I'm a Rocky person too, especially his story where he was really inspired to create that movie himself. So Rocky.
Very true. And how can people purchase your book and Eric Schinninger's book? How can people call you to get coached? How can people get your services, ma'am?
Okay, I have a website, nikkislaw.com. Our book, Personalized, is on Amazon, and I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, Principal Nikki Slaw.
Thank you very much, panel, for being here today. I mean, we cannot pick up all this knowledge right now. People pay hundreds of dollars for this, and you all got it for free. You all got it for free. So it's very important that you like it and share it, because remember, guys, we're not alone in this. You choose to be alone. Half of the people right here, I never knew. I just reached out and said, hey, you wanna be on the show? Hey, you wanna connect? Hey, that's all you do. You run into people at conferences like I did with Nikki and Eric, but you know what? Still, it doesn't matter at all. It's about this free PD that we have here before you, because we know this one thing. As educators, right now, the bucket is very dry with finance. It's hard to go ask for a PO to go to a conference in another state. You know that you got to give your future 3 grandchildren and 10 pints of blood for you to be considered for a PO. So right now you have all of these avenues: Edutopia, Education Week. You've got the books by the authors here, and they're less expensive on Kindle. However you want to take it, but it's free PD for us. We need to grow, like it was said on the panel, and you got this all at your fingertips. You got the Fantastic Four at your fingertips. So don't dread the job. Just keep on sharpening your axe every weekend, making sure that it's ready for you to chop down those trees and bring success to those kids. And they need you every single last day. And you've got all of these panel members right here that love you, care about you, and they want your success, because you know what? If you're successful, this country's successful, because those kids will be successful. And you, my friend, you are creating the future leaders of this country. So thank you very much. And join us next week for episode 76 of the PGP podcast, the Campus Culture Show, with Jorge Valenzuela, Dr. Don Parker, Sofia Gonzalez, Sheldon Aikens, and Yaritza Villalba. Another panel of rockstar here, all for you. Free PD. Panel, say goodbye.
And don't hang
everyone.
up.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you, everybody. Like and share it. We'll be seeing you next week at 5 p.m. Central. Jefe, 5 p.m. Central. Jefe, write it down.